It's another episode of Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. Back-to-back weeks, so this is excellent progress. And Jeremy, baseball life comes at you fast. Just last week, we talked about Ron Washington having interest in the Astros open managerial job. And now, November 8th, Ron Washington is the new manager of the Los Angeles Angels. I mean, whoa. What do you know about what happened and what went down with Ron Washington and why he is the new manager of the Angels?
So, how much am I supposed to tell here? Am I supposed to tell what I don't know, where do I go? Because, I feel like I got a little bit of insight into this one, just a little bit. And I know we got this stuff about, I'm not an insider, my sources, and we got all this stuff going on with the Astros online blog world, which, by the way, we're going to talk about that too. We'll talk about that a little bit because, I do know there's a lot of passion in this city for this team, and justifiably so, right? Should be that anywhere. That's why they're called fans, which is short for fanatics, which doesn't necessarily mean thinking with the right mindset all the time. Thinking with emotion, fanatical, right? We're fanatical, okay? But is there a baseball card company out there that might be owned by a group called Fanatics? I'm just thinking, is that right? Okay, we'll come back to that one too. So we'll circle back. We'll put a pin in it. Right? Yep. We'll come back to okay. Houston Astros fans. Whoops. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look out and you see the entire industry, and I do mean the entire industry. Fan bases, media members, former players, coaches, general managers, media people that might be close to home. Telling you, this guy's really good. I mean, he's really good. And he can transform organizations, and he can shepherd players to become the best versions of themselves. I don't know, maybe a young Jeremy Pena would have come to mind, or a Yainer Diaz, or some of the other stars. Maybe make Kyle Tucker want to stay here. Don't know if he doesn't. Just saying, could have helped. And you guys, not all of you, you guys decided you didn't like him. And for what? Because he's a little bit in the, advanced age a little bit. That was your reasoning. You thought a man that was literally profiled in the movie about how analytics took over baseball, that would be called, I'm listening for the drum roll. There it is. Moneyball. The one that gave birth to your savior. The one that you give credit for all of it. The one that the heavens opened up and the baseball gods gifted you. Oh, he don't even like the baseball gods. Just some kind of numeric. Bill James himself anointed this dude and dropped him in your lap. And the one that you write these narratives, these long missives, Jeff, the stuff that you guys do to bring them to say that this is the one that created it. Wash was ahead of all that. And he wasn't just there once. They brought him back a second time to be a coach. He's one of the best baseball men the game has literally ever seen. He's not just loved because he's a cult hero, because he's one of the best base. He transformed Eric Chavez. He transformed Jason Giambi. He transformed Miguel Tejada. He transformed Ben Grieve. He transformed Ramon Hernandez. He transformed even Randy Velarde back in the day. And then he goes to Texas, and he transforms Michael Young, and he transforms Jurickson Profar, and he transforms Elvis Andrus. And the list continues. And he takes teams and makes them winners, and he gets the most out of players. And you guys said no. And then a team in your division who drastically, and I do mean drastically, needs a rudder change, has two of the best players of all time, at least ability-wise. And they thought it was good enough. There's a little history there with the Manazians, and I'm going to give this to you. I don't remember Perry and Zach's Manazian. Full disclosure, I know Perry a little bit. I worked with Zach in Milwaukee. That's the Manazian brothers. Zach is now the pro scouting director in San Francisco. And they were very close with Doug Melvin, who once upon a time was a Ranger. Okay. Well, their dad was a clubhouse attendant in Texas. And when Wash was there last time, the Manazians know Wash from when Perry was a scout with the Rangers, and Wash was, their dad was a clubhouse guy. There's history that goes back there. And then Perry goes to Atlanta and works with Wash there. Now, I'm not going to get into Wash leaving Texas. People make mistakes. I'm not going to get into what happened there. That's his business. And he's put it behind him. And we would, as many people in Houston still cry, and rightfully so, by the way, that people point out the cheating scandal in 2017. I think we can identify with one, leave our mistakes in the past, right? We can do that here in Houston. It was about as embarrassing a display from several people that spoke on the radio and from people who wrote online to put down Ron Washington when the rest of baseball said that guy is a guy that we got to have. You just embarrassed yourselves. Furthermore, and I'm just going to go here now, Jason, because I've known the guy since I could walk. That's just the truth. I'll just tell you now, I've noticed I could walk. Matter of fact, you go back to X, you'll see a picture of me, Gary Pettis, and Ron Washington like this at the 2021 World Series, one that I believe a young Jason Bristol took. Okay, because I grew up in the game, and I know I'm not an insider and all that. And I know I don't know anybody. Bottom line is, I took a picture with those guys. Wash almost raised me. And so it's a little bit offensive. It's personally offensive to hear people discuss that. Now, I'm not saying that because, you may not like him for this team. You may not think he's a good fit. But some of the stuff you guys said, you ought to be embarrassed. You ought to be embarrassed because the rest of the game looked at that. And this is right on the heels of Dusty Baker looking at that. Right? And saying, I don't want to be here anymore because I don't listen to the bloggers. That's why I went to the house. I'm 74 years old, and all the stuff I went through, you ran me out. And some of you celebrated it. You got the rest of the game watching you. You want everybody to want to be here. Somebody said that the Astros job is the most desirable in baseball. Let me tell you something. Dana Brown's good. Okay? Jim Crane, as much as I got to be around him, man, that guy's been maligned a little bit. He ain't that bad. He's pretty good. He's got a pretty good group of advisors, and they got a good clubhouse. And the reason that people don't want to be around is because of the bloggers and the people online that go torture them. And they're driven by at least one radio host. You're hurting the city, and you're hurting yourselves. You're making yourselves look bad. Right now, you got to hope that the rest of baseball didn't see what happened with Ron Washington and what you said about him, and they did, and that somebody's going to want to be here because Joe Espada, somewhere else we're going to go, is a free agent. And I got a pretty good idea where the landing spot is if it isn't here. That's what happened with this. That's how Houston mishandled this. Not the team. Didn't have to be their choice. Club could have gone through it, made their decision, and you know what? It's their right. Could have been Ron Washington, Joe Espada, Jason Bristol. Could have been, any other people. Lance McCullers could have been a player manager. Who cares? It's their choice. Okay, but you guys embarrass yourselves again, and you did it not for the good fans in Houston that care, not for the guys that are cheering all the players, not for the ones that you did it out of spite. You did it out of anger. You did it out of frustration because you think that somehow your voice in trashing people's careers matters. All it does is embarrass you and embarrass that. And this team is going to be fine one way or without you. But Ron Washington is one of the best baseball men ever to be in this game. And the Angels just stole something in your division. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for them to see what they can do. But that Astros team that desperately needs more leadership and more direction as they try to recover from what happened in 2023, which wasn't a bad year. But for me, no matter what the rest of baseball says, and they were hurt, they should have done better. They had some pitching issues when it came to guys that were out of roles. Lance McCullers got hurt again. Garcia went down. There's some recovery that's got to happen as time goes on, and they needed some leadership. And it's embarrassing to me to have seen what I saw with that with other people that may want to come here.
It's very interesting to hear or read what Alex Anthopoulos said about Ron Washington. Alex, obviously, with Atlanta. This is from Justin Toscano. He's the Braves beat writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Quote, this is Alex on Ron. It's a huge loss for us. I emphasize that in caps, bold, italicized, all of it. Huge, huge void. I had 6 years with him, and I can't imagine I'll be around another guy like that in my entire career. Who says that? I mean, who says that? I've never heard a quote like that about a guy leaving. I mean, there's always praise and applause and congrats, but man, wow.
You know, I'll put this out there for you as well to just kind of back that up. So I texted with Ray Montgomery, who, Jason, you know, I know exceptionally well as well, right? And
Ray Montgomery, who John Morosi said that the Astros are potentially considering for the Astros open managerial job. I don't know how far that's gone. It was just the name was attached to the Astros job.
I'm gonna and there's look, that was Morosi's deal. There's no reason that would be in play, not in play. It's just Morosi said, and I just gave as we talked about, I just gave the rundown of his bio. But I texted with Ray, and I said, I've known Wash since I was a kid, and he goes, "Man, I'm paraphrasing. I can't wait. I'm excited. Can't wait to help." This is a guy who's in the conversation in Houston, at least by one writer. Doesn't mean he's going to be here. Doesn't mean he was actually, really in the conversation. Somebody threw his name out there. But he's also a name worth considering. He's also been a very good executive for a long time. He's done a lot of the transition stuff. And again, I know, and Jason, you're going to have to stay with me here. I know I'm not an insider. I know I don't know anybody. I've never had dinner with Dana. Wasn't around when Gavin Dickey's first year was that. No, not me. Nope. We've never been at Biggio's. Didn't scout Biggio's kids. None of that stuff. Nope, didn't happen. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you is, didn't take a picture with Pettis. Okay, didn't do that. What I'm trying to tell you is this: Wash energizes people. He makes you want to be better. He makes you want to play the game right. You don't want to let the guy down. He's in my book as a thank you for being a mentor. Next to Ray, by the way, ironically. But you don't want to do these type of things and run off good baseball people, because Houston needs good baseball people to want to be here to continue to be good and relevant. If you continue to do this stuff here and run people out and tell them they don't want to come, they're going to laugh at you when you're not winning anymore. And they're going to stomp on you, and they're going to embarrass you, and they're going to come to your stadium. They're going to find you. Even those with the nameless, faceless Twitter X handles. Okay. So, good. I'm happy for Wash. I'm excited for that group of people, what they're going to do. I'm excited for Perry. I'm excited for Benji. I can't believe Wash don't keep Benji. I've known, Benji used to work here, with us. So Benji's a great dude. And matter of fact, there's a video you may have seen on X of Benji and Kyron Paris, but again, I don't know anybody. Nope. Didn't do anything on my side. Got it. Okay. The reality is that the Astros now will have a smaller pool to pull from. It's highly likely the guy they wanted in the first place isn't off the board yet. Okay, it's highly likely because that's just how it works, right? Dana's not in any kind of rush. The Espada thing may move him along a little bit if he's going to consider him, because I think Espada has a home, by the way. Okay, and I talked to some media in a couple other cities. I think Espada's got a home. Okay, so Astros have an opportunity to capitalize on something. They missed the boat on this one, and period. And that's just the way it is.
But realistically, when you look at the Angels, 73 and 89 last year, 17 games out of first, a team that made some moves at the trade deadline and then just floundered immediately after. Can one guy, and the free agent class this year, by most accounts, is not great. So really, can one man have an impact in a division with the Astros, the 2022 World Series champions, the Rangers, the 2023 World Series champions, and the Seattle Mariners, a playoff team, or a team that is definitely playoff caliber?
Well, with the Seattle Mariners, you got to watch out because they apparently discovered you need guys to make consistent contact. Okay, I'm glad that was a revelation for the Seattle team, Seattle Baseball Club, which I like. But I like saying that Seattle Baseball Club. Wash next year is a culture guy. He's going to change culture. He's going to get Rendon to want to be on the field. He's going to get Trout to want to stay healthy. He's going to go ahead and get the pitching staff, or competing a pitch at a time. He's going to get the best out of the players that he can get on the field. I'm quite certain you don't hire a guy like Ron Washington and don't give him some arrows, let's say, in the quiver. He's going to go get some guys to go in there. Perry's going to go do that, and they're going to move some stuff in. And while we're on the topic here, initially, I'll say this. Initially, Wash wasn't going to go to the West Coast. And then when it became apparent that he wanted to manage, we'll just leave it at that. Do you know anybody that might have had a heads up on that?
I think I saw a tweet about it.
Okay. So when that went out and Wash I'm sure got blown up by everybody in the game like we did, I think the Angels kicked the tires again and said, look, man, we can't lose you to someone else in the division. It can't happen. And Wash went out there yesterday, interviewed for 9 hours. Got offered the job today. Culture. He's going to go in. He's going to teach them what they need to do. He's going to allow that farm system to grow. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there 4 or 5 years. 2-year contract. He's not going to manage till he's 80. Not going to happen. He's healthy. He's got a sharp baseball mind, which is interesting because you watch these managers that are winning. Dusty Baker, Bruce Bochy, even Torey Lovello is 60, right? It's almost 60 years old, 58, something like that, somewhere in that range.
He's definitely paid his dues, Torey Lovello.
Yeah. I mean, you've got guys who are veteran managers that are veteran baseball people, and we got people over here screaming for calculators to run the team. It's unbelievable. Like literally, like I was sent an article and it wasn't even worth reading. I was like 3 seconds in. I was like, yeah, I go to the bathroom. I'll just take this with me. That's what it was worth. Okay. But you got calculators trying to run this team as opposed to baseball people, even the Seattle Mariners, Jerry DiPoto. We need guys to make contact. We need guys to hit the baseball. Now let's go ahead and get a calculator. Have them tell us what to do. It's amazing. It's baffling to me. But anyway, we move on. Good for them. Culture change. We'll see what happens in year 2. Very similar to a rookie player like Jeremy Pena or Yainer Diaz, someone we'll talk about. Guys go out the first year, see what happens. Wash has to get the culture right. That's why he's there.
The bloggers and tweeters are going to have a bit of an issue with you, Jeremy. I had written down some things that we should talk about, but I think the bloggers and tweeters are going to have an issue.
And everybody's got an issue with them because they cause everything that's out there. I'm saying it to you. I'll say it to you right now. Everything that goes on that people talk about Houston sports has to do with you, if you're listening. It's you. It's the way Dusty put it. I've never seen that before either, by the way. I've never seen a manager or a player leave a city and say, yeah, these guys, I want nothing to do with them.
We must have seen that in New York. I mean, come on. Not
like that. Not like that. He went on TV and said, these guys, I want nothing to do with them. They ruined the game for me. It's exactly what he said.
That's not exactly what he said.
Okay.
The question was he untreated fairly by the Houston media?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the Houston media, it was the bloggers and the fake media. It was those guys that think they're media. That's not media. That's opinions. That's not what media does. Media ask questions. They stick to the truth. They give their opinion on the truth. They don't sit there and spin opinions and call it news. That's exactly what we saw going on here.
Influencers.
Influencing who? They influence people not to want to be here. Influence people right out of town. Ending careers and then celebrating it. Like, what kind of people are these? They're going to have an issue with me? So what? What kind of people do that? To the point where the entire game says, you know where you don't want to go? You want to deal with these dudes. That's amazing. It's amazing to me.
They're not saying that in baseball. Come on.
They absolutely. You just saw somebody say it on TV who won a World Series. You don't think everybody else heard that? They all heard it. They all heard. I got asked questions. Are they that bad? What was I supposed to say? I said the fans are great. Stadium's great. Ownership's great. Data's great. Team is great. These dudes can't help you. Yeah, I just can't help you. I can't help you. I've had to listen to it myself. I had what's that chat gif of Block Party?
Yep.
Because it was insane. It was insane to see that. And they're spurred on by one guy. Like they follow one guy.
No, that's not true.
It is what I saw. It
Okay.
is what I saw. So in any event, give it a rest. Get the people in here that want to be here. It's a great city. It's a great fan base at its core. Man, we walk around that stadium, so many nice people in that ballpark all the time. It's awesome. And I'd hate to see the city miss out because of some people deciding they have an opinion that they want a calculator who's 6 years old to be the manager.
But if they get the guy who they want, they being your bloggers and tweeters, and the guy being Joe Espada, they're going to rejoice and say, we got what we wanted. This is what we wanted all along. And we didn't want, an old guy. This is what we wanted. We need to be younger. I mean, we need to get younger. That's what we see on all these different social media sites. I don't know why they think they need to get younger, but
well, first of all, Espada is, I think he's 47, right? 47, 48. He's right around my age. And if that's not young, that's actually done plenty of time as a veteran to step in. That's just younger compared to 70, right? So it doesn't mean that Joe doesn't deserve the opportunity. We don't know that. That's Joe and the people that are making the decision. It doesn't mean he may not be the right guy. We don't know that. What it means is the hatred and vitriol spit by these people that are bloggers and I'm sorry, did you call them influencers? Is that what you call?
I don't know
whatever these people are. It's classless, it's ridiculous, it's unintelligent, and it has no place in it. And you're running people out of the city. And that's terrible because it's a great place and it's a great fan base when you get to see them. And this little group of people, they go ahead and they throw this out there, and the World Series manager says, essentially, why would you want to listen to that? I mean, for me, that's hard to take because you and I walk around the stadium, we see those people that care, the people that broadcast the games, that actually broadcast them, the people that sit with the players. We see what those guys go through. We watch it. And the fans, how many times they stop us? Hey, what do you think? Hey, it's great, because they care, because they want the team to win, because they want to be part of something great, because they're wearing the city with these players. These players are wearing the city for them too. And it's just terrible to see a certain group of people ruining that around baseball and ruining that reputation. And maybe that's what it comes down to. Maybe it comes down to, for me, watching people that I know are good baseball people that could keep a city I live in, that I've adopted as my home, that I love, listening to those fans ask us questions. And people don't want to come here anymore. They just want to do it because of that. That's hard, man. That's hard for me to swallow. And I guess I hurt for Dusty when I saw it because I know how much he loves the game. And I really hurt for Wash because Wash didn't do anything to deserve that, but wake up. He didn't do anything. And somebody else hired him, and you don't see executives saying that, just like you don't see people leaving saying, yeah, I want nothing to do with going back because of this. It's tough, man. It's tough because we cover this team, we cover the league, and the just short-sighted. I'm trying to find a different word than what I really want to say. The short-sighted and unintelligent baseball nature of some of these that something we've seen is just giving people the city a bad name. It's terrible.
All right, in our remaining moments left, let's do a little be careful what you wish for. A lot of those bloggers and tweeters and people, and I think most fans, they're excited about Yainer Diaz being the starting catcher in 2024 for the Astros. This past season, in 355 plate appearances, batted .282, 23 homers, 60 runs driven in. I don't have all the OPS. I didn't write that down. Be careful what you wish for. Yes, Yainer Diaz was very, very, very good as a rookie. Should we expect a drop-off as a sophomore, if you will, in Major League Baseball? Because look what happened to Jeremy Pena his first season, and then how he slipped offensively in terms of numbers in his second season. Will there be what are the chances we'll see a drop-off from Yainer Diaz, since he will have a lot more plate appearances, and teams will see him a lot more. Jeremy, he struck out 74 times with 11 walks in 355 plate appearances. Over 162 games, 18 walks, 112 strikeouts. But you're talking a guy, 278, 34 homers, 90 runs driven in, if you forecast him for a 162 game season.
So he's not going to play 162 because he's a catcher, right? So he might play 130, okay? Because he's going to get some days off, and he should. Second thing is, I think everything you said about his exposure to the league, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, he's not a secret anymore. He's going to get seen more often. He's going to get more at-bats. What I would say is that he's supposed to hit, okay? He's supposed to hit. So his maintenance of the expectations that he's going to continue. Payne, no one had that expectation but Houston fans. No one thought he was going to do that again, right? And in Houston fans' defense, they saw that when he got here. So it's like, oh, okay, it's what he is. But nobody else who had seen him extended period of time thought he was that guy year in and year out. Maybe in a peak year, maybe in an excellent year. More of what people thought Jeremy Payne was what you got in year two. That's more what people thought he was. Now, Diaz, the short answer to your question is yes, but it'll be for all the right reasons. It'll be there's a little bit of a switch, and he may swing and miss. Walks don't get you off the island, as they say. I mean, he's going to go ahead and do that, but he's going to make consistent contact, and he's not going to have a big of a lineup switch in location like Pena did. Pena went from 2 to what, 8? 2 to 7, 2 to 8, right? And Diaz is going to hit 6 or 7 or 8 in this lineup. That's what he's going to do, depending on how.
Probably 6 or 7, I would imagine.
Right. So he's not going to go ahead and jump ahead of Alvarez and Bregman and Altuve's and the guys that they've got up there. He's just going to go ahead hitting that same spot he has. So it's not like it's an adjustment on not having to be pitched too differently, right? He's just going to get every day at bats, and he should get them. And if he hits 250, 255, and he hits 25, and it's an all-star. And he's shown he can do that. And if he gets an extended period of time with it, then it's great.
Of course, most people would look at Martin Maldonado's stats, 191, 15 homers, 36 runs driven in, and anything over that would be an added bonus.
Diaz is a better player at this point in time. I had Maldonado with the Brewers, meaning I was a Brewer scout, and we had to go see players in our organization, and I didn't even get hit at all. And he's obviously caught enough and hit enough at different times to have a great big league career, because he really has. For what he's done, he's won a Gold Glove. He's got a couple of rings. He's had a very good career. Bounced around for a while. It's just Diaz time. If I'm the Astros, I'm bringing Maldonado back. He clearly lives here. He ain't leaving, right? He's definitely in Houston. He's from Puerto Rico originally. So if he doesn't get a job somewhere else, I'm bringing him here and I'm saying you're going to mentor Diaz from the 2 spot, because he's the type of guy that stays in the organization forever. Maldonado's loved by this organization, rightfully so. And then the pitchers can have him around to pick stuff up, and he can catch 3 or 4 innings when he needs to, but he's not going to play every day.
But if he's here, won't JV and Fromber still want to throw to him?
I think that's more about when, Fromber not having enough time to adjust to Diaz. Remember, Diaz made the team. This bloggers and a lot of other people say Corey Lee was the dude. Okay. Remember this? And so Dana went in and said, no, that guy's going to Sugarland. That guy's going to Sugarland. And Yiner's the guy, because he was right. So I think another offseason now prepping for that. I think Verlander coming over halfway through, not knowing Diaz and knowing Maldonado in the playoff hunt, I think that was the right call. I think Fromber's been comfortable with Maldonado for a couple of years. That's the right call. I think that now you have time to work together. You have time to transition. Maldonado, if he's here, he catches 40 games a year, 50 games. What do you care? 50 games is once a week, twice a week, right? And if Yiner's playing a 5 out of 7, everybody here should be pretty happy with it. That's 25 at bats.
The reaction on X is going to be something.
I thought, I thought about that, before we did this tonight. And I'm just, X has turned into a very interesting place.
Yep.
The reality is that everything I said is true. I don't care if they don't like it. No one's trying to alienate them. If anything, they're embarrassing a city and team that they say to love. They don't want to hear that. They don't care. Fine. But that's the truth. And I feel bad when I go around the league and I hear these guys really that bad, I hate that. I hate it, because the players and the fans at large want to win so badly. And it's such a great place that to hear that other stuff it's just embarrassing, man. It's hard. So
Dusty called them spoiled.
Yeah, there's other cities who've never won before that when they win, they turn into this. New England famously had a switch in how they did things when they had a 20-year run of the Red Sox and the Patriots, and the attitudes changed, right? Just it is what it is. The Yankees are just always been that way because they keep winning. They haven't won in a while, but they won 27 championships, and the Yankees are still the Yankees. When you think of the New York Yankees, you think of a winner. You may not like that winner. You may not like the picture of Judge and Altuve. There's a lot of reasons you might get frustrated with it, but you still think of winners are the Yankees, right? So, I just think everybody's got their right to their opinion. No one's trying to take away these bloggers and writers and have your opinions. It's fine. It's great. Go ahead. But realize what that looks like and the message you're saying to the rest of baseball, and that by picking on Ron Washington, you probably picked on the one guy you shouldn't have. That's the one guy in this game you shouldn't have. And the reason why isn't because I say so. It isn't because you and I know, you've met him or because we spent time with him. It's because of the things that Alex Anthopoulos said. If he says that, the rest of the game says it too. He's transformed 3 organizations into winners. And you guys said that wasn't good enough. That's a problem.
And there you have it, everybody. It is another episode of Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. Leave your comments, questions, concerns below. We will answer your questions. We will respond to your comments. Yeah, we'll do that. Because we just did that for the last 40 minutes. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Thanks for checking in. Jeremy, thanks for your time today. And until next time, you've been listening to Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth.